My name is Ivy Prosper. Thank you for joining today. This is ScaleUp Africa's first virtual Pan-African Business Growth Festival. If you haven't been on the sessions today, it's important to note that this is a fantastic opportunity to help with the growth of African business and startups. If you're on social media, you're here on Zoom and you want to share quotes on Twitter, use the hashtag Ignite2020, ScaleUp Africa, or Global Startup Ecosystem. Now, ScaleUp Africa is all about growing ventures in different sectors. As she said, this panel is on diaspora engagement and investment trends in Africa. First of all, I want to say thank you to ScaleUp Africa for putting this together, bringing people together for this panel, and for inviting me to moderate today. For those of you who do not know me, my name again is Ivy Prosper. I am a producer, a writer, a former TV host, author of the book, Your Essential Guide on Moving to Ghana, and I currently work in the Beyond the Return Secretariat. I manage social media for Beyond the Return and also for Year of Return under the auspices of Ghana Tourism Authority. Now, I'm really looking forward to this panel discussion. We have some wonderful panelists today who I know are going to make some fantastic contributions to the conversation. It's a very relevant one as more and more people in the diaspora are expressing interest in Ghana and other African countries. As I'm speaking to you today, I am in Ghana, and I will make reference to the fact that Ghana has long been known as a country that has been one of the most Pan-African and often inviting people from the diaspora with open arms to come and experience the country's culture, history, and heritage. The recent Year of Return campaign created a dynamic never before seen where young people who never in their lives thought about coming to Ghana or an African country were suddenly booking trips. They suddenly had a level of interest of wanting to come to Ghana or other African countries. Even Ghanaians who had left the country suddenly wanted to come back. Diasporans from the Caribbean, from America, Europe, booking trips. And then subsequently, after their trips, what's happening now is people are asking questions. How do I invest? How do I buy property? How do I start a business? How can I give back? How do I make this a yearly holiday? So the diaspora now is hooked. They have a strong interest in Ghana and other African countries. So with this growing interest in learning more about the continent, this panel discussion today is even more relevant because we have people on the panel who I think can contribute to this conversation. No, I know will contribute some fantastic things to this conversation, talking about connecting with the diaspora community. So I have on here, we've got Sonia Galat. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, Sonia Galat, yes, hi.
Okay, Sonia Galat is one of our panelists today. She is a co-founder of Africa Business Venture. It is an online e-resource platform, and it aims to be your one-stop solution to help you expand your business. Would you like to say a few words about your business and what you do?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ivy. So yes, I'm Sonia Galat. I was born in Ivory Coast, and I live here. I live now in the UK. It's been 10 years now. I've created my journey into getting involved in the diaspora led me to become the director of the Chamber of Commerce of Côte d'Ivoire here in the UK. And I've also created this online platform where I really trying to talk about Africa to SMEs here in the UK and giving them advice solutions to go and explore on the continent and find relevant partnerships on the continent.
Fantastic. Welcome to the panel.
Thank you.
And I see we have Lakeisha Ford. Lakeisha Ford is the founder of Ford Communications. She's also the managing director. Her company is a strategic communications consultancy. They do public relations, digital marketing, they train and they support businesses, they help brands to grow. She used to live in the US and she moved to Ghana and started her business 5 years ago, but her first trip to Ghana was in 2008 as part of a study abroad program. And she ended up feeling like the country felt like home. And then years later, here she is running her own business. She's been featured on many media outlets, including the BBC and Newsweek, sharing her story that has been inspirational for a lot of people who are in the diaspora thinking about moving to Ghana or to another African country. Welcome to the panel, Lakeisha. I would love to hear a few words from you about your business and what you do.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Ivy. I appreciate that introduction. Greetings, everyone. Welcome. Just to give a bit about myself, I'm essentially the product of study abroad. I'm the product of traveling and opening my mind to Ghana. I'm the product of someone who's been attentive to the space here in Ghana, where I was able to see a gap between the West and Africa. And essentially, this is why Ford Communications was born. We support local companies that need international exposure. This is also an effort to create a more holistic narrative of the African continent. People need to know what actually is happening here regarding innovation, the positive things. So we work with a lot of local businesses in that light. And we also support international businesses that want to enter African markets. So this has been my labor of love. And I'm looking forward to discussing more and talking about our insights and as well as our forecast for the Africa we want to see.
Fantastic, thank you. Welcome to the panel, Lakeisha. And I see we have Aretha Amasarfo Kantanka, who is the founder of Global Fusion Productions. She is a marketing and PR specialist, and you're based in New York City, I believe, correct?
I'm based in Ghana now, actually.
Okay. So formerly in New York, now in Ghana.
Yeah.
She's been one of the leaders in businesses that target the global African market, from Africa to the USA and USA to Africa. Her goal has been to show a new Africa in the global marketplace and to change the perception of what people see of Africa, connecting companies and brands. And she's very heavily involved in content creation and writing. Welcome. I would love to hear more from you about what you do with your business and engaging with the diaspora.
Okay. Well, I consider myself a cultural curator since I came from global branding. In terms of the way I first entered actually doing global branding with the diaspora was through the company Guess when they first launched in Africa. So they had so many stores in South Africa, and then they decided to spread themselves all over the continent. And they brought me in for that, for global branding and marketing. And that's basically what I've been doing. And more so, I came into Ghana with James Barner, working with James Barner, and also working with the first Ghanaian produced mobile company, which was KTA Mobile. So just being in Ghana now, I have at least 100 calls and messages a day from diasporans looking to do the same thing. So I was the guinea pig, let's say, to come out here and see, what was possible, and then bringing other businesses and whatnot and investors together is what I've been basically doing.
Great, fantastic. What you said has been quite the common narrative as far as those of us who are here and getting people contacting you on a daily basis from the diaspora, constantly wanting to know what's going on, how can they come? Okay, I see Denta is here. I know we had a little bit of a glitch before and we had lost her, but she's here now. So I will introduce her. Denta Amwateng, MBE, president of GUBA. GUBA started off as a Ghana, UK-based achievement awards that they did annually, and it's branched out into so many different areas and recently rebranded as Grow United Build Africa. Now, this came about after doing their very first award ceremony in the US and realizing that they've gone beyond the borders of the UK when it comes to connecting with the African diaspora community, and it was important to find a way to brand themselves globally. So she did that. She also serves on the board for Ghana Tourism Authority. She's been quite active and engaging with the diaspora. She's a television host, presenter, producer, manager, and some people don't know, she's been an actress as well. She is a very well-versed woman in so many different areas of business. She was named in 2017 as one of the 100 most outstanding women entrepreneurs in Ghana for her advocacy by the Africa Network of Entrepreneurs. I could go on and on and on about the things that Denta has done, but I would let her introduce herself as well. Welcome to the panel, Denta.
Well, hello to everybody. So like Ivy said, my name is Denta, the president of Gooba Enterprise, which basically is a platform to engage the diaspora. We want to connect the diaspora back home. We want to keep the diaspora informed. We want to celebrate the diaspora and, you know, really ensure that we have the opportunity to invest back home. So, you know, Gooba has different arms. We have the awards, we have the Gooba Trade Expo. So we know that we import so much into Africa. How about us, you know, taking our products outside? So, you know, we've had events where we've had Tesco's, Body Shop, and the likes ASOS attend the event and see whether they can source some of our products into their stores. And then we've got the Gooba Careers, which looks at, you know, the diaspora moving back home to Ghana. And we've been able to employ a lot of people back home. We've got the Gooba Diaspora card, which is a visa plus discount card for the diaspora when you come. As you know, in the UK and, you know, outside, you can get discounts, you know, like loyalty cards.
Yeah.
But this one is a special one because it also acts as a visa card. So I've been an advocate basically of championing and encouraging the diaspora to really look back home. Not everybody's going to move back home, but everybody can invest back home.
I like that you said that. Not everybody's going to move back home, but everybody can invest. Definitely, most definitely. So today's conversation is one that has become increasingly relevant. And I think right now with the global pandemic, there's even more people in the diaspora who are reaching out to people in Africa about opportunities and how they can possibly transition to a life here or investing here, whether it's a situation of going back and forth or a situation of they completely relocate here. I know that all of you have your own experiences, and I think it's going to be quite valuable to hear what everyone has to say in these different areas when it comes to diaspora engagement. Now, for me, having worked with Year of Return last year, one of the challenges that was often expressed was the disconnect between the local African and the diasporan who comes. What are some of the things that you have done? This question could be for any of you. What are some of the things that you have done in your business to try and bridge the gap so there's not that disconnect? Because some Ghanaians will say they don't understand the diasporans will say they don't understand Ghanaians. And I've heard that in other African countries too. So what do you do in your business to try to bridge the gap?
I think what we, and I'm just talking about Côte d'Ivoire here. One of the first things that we noticed, my team and myself, was the difficulty that we had being from the diaspora and based here in the UK to try to engage with stakeholders in Africa, being able to talk to people and being able just to say, hi, we're here and we really want to support the development of Ivory Coast. Is it possible? How can we get engaged and so on? And this was something that was extremely difficult to develop. Maybe it's because I was not in Côte d'Ivoire, but from our Ivorian partners looking at us, they were looking at us more as threats to them instead of looking at us as partners. So it took us maybe like 2 years to really like build up the trust. So that they are like, okay, we can work with the embassy. They can, those girls really want to do good for Côte d'Ivoire. But this is something that I see that is very, very complicated. And I was not expecting actually when I started. I thought, well, great, they'll be happy, you know, like a qualified lawyer working for them with, I think like everyone else here, like with an international background, traveling and several languages, and just like open to do business and support the country, but it wasn't received as this. And this was a big surprise.
Do any of you have those similar experiences?
Yes, so I can speak to the question. What I will say, I guess, to create a framework. So there are different segments, right? When we talk about people who are local, whether they are a part of the working class or let's say business class. And either way, when you interact, you're still supporting or giving back. For Ford, the training component of our services, we partnered with British Council. They had a program where they were essentially empowering local entrepreneurs with information on how they can run their businesses. So through our training, we were able to train about 200 entrepreneurs over like the span of 6 weeks. Like it was quite intense, but I would say that was probably one of the most rewarding things we were able to do in reference to like really touching the people or connecting with the people. So training by all means. And the thing about it is sometimes you would look at it and think like, wow, you know, my company is quite young. But the truth is there are people who are still in a very, let's say, nascent stage, and something that, you know, could essentially edify them. So we've been able to train. And then when we talk about the business class or people who are investors or property developers and things of that sort, because like all of us, we get a lot of I get a lot of people reaching out about investment opportunities. There's the organic linking, and we're working on something right now where we're tapping into contractors Black contractors from the States and connecting them with property developers here. So that's another element of, you know, touching the people in a way that that can actually hit their bottom line and affect what they're actually doing. So that's kind of our contribution so far. And I think really in the sense of literally being here and doing the work here, or even if you're, let's say, outside, but a lot of your work is focused towards Ghana or the continent, you know, pouring your resources in, whether it be intellectually, financially, it still is connecting with the people. So as much as it might not be, let's say, as tangible or indirect, it still does matter. So those, I would say, are some of the ways we've been able to contribute locally.
Okay, that's good. I want to go back to what Sonia said. I think she touched on something that I've heard a lot, and I know myself, when I first came to Ghana, I remember in 2011, when my uncle told me, it's going to take you at least 2 years. That's what he said. He said, it's going to take you at least 2 years to be able to really get a foothold in the country. And I was like, 2 years? This should just be like a few months. But literally what you said, that it took 2 years to build up trust, people are skeptical. So for anybody who's in the diaspora, who's watching and is thinking about coming to an African country, some of the people here are skeptical that you're just gonna come, take, and leave. They want to know that you actually have a vested interest, where you're going to stay, you're going to work with them, you're going to engage with them, and that you have a genuine interest in helping to develop and grow, and that you're not just coming to take and run. And then I see in the comments here, we've got some people who are commenting about their experiences. Somebody named Wumi, she said what she did was in Nigeria, she connected with a Nigeria Twitter block over time before moving back. Relevant folks with built up a network in her industry. So that is a key, using social media to connect with people in the industries that you want to get into, so that you kind of have people to connect with before you actually arrive. This day and age, that should be much easier than it was, you know, 20, 30 years ago when people moved. All they had was mail or phone calls and hope they reached somebody. But now with social media, it should be something that would be a little bit easier to connect. Denta, you go back and forth between the UK and Ghana. What do you find you needed to do to maintain and build a connection with people here so they don't think you're abandoning them when you're going back and forth?
Yeah, I think it's really important for us in the diaspora that when we are coming back home to Ghana, that we don't, you know, think that we are better than them. And I think that's what they dislike. They don't like you thinking that you know more than they do because they've been on the ground. And so I had to learn that very quickly because it was like, oh, but we don't do that here. We don't do that in the UK. We do that, you know, we do it this way. You know, I want you to do this X, Y, Z. So you have to really come down to their level and be appreciative of what they do. So in terms of saying, you know, instead of saying, oh, this is how we do it in the UK, there's a way in structuring it. I like the way maybe you do it, you know, appreciate their thing first and say, is it possible that we kind of adjust or meet halfway and do it like this? Because I think that's the perception that, you know, we come in, we know it all, we think we've got the experience, et cetera, but actually we need them on the ground here. They know the turf, they know how to communicate with people, and you need the two to come together. So I think it's really important for us that when we are coming, we have that mindset as well. You know, not that, you know, we should do things the wrong way, but just slowly teach them gradually, because people in Ghana are laid back. I mean, we're very fast paced in the diaspora. Like, we want things done so quickly, but the more pressure that you're putting on this guy or girl, the more slower they will be, because they're just like, madam, I'll do it in my own time. But it's the way in which we also communicate with them that will enhance that relationship and that will, you know, better the business.
Most definitely, most definitely.
Yeah.
Now, Denta, I want to go to you again, because one of the things with Year of Return, because you worked as part of the team with promoting and everything, is that you did a lot of work with celebrities. You interview celebrities, you're around them. They're the kind of people who bring a profile onto Africa. But the local community was saying that they didn't take the celebrities seriously. They looked at it as they just come, have fun, and leave, but they don't really care about us. With that sentiment from the local African, do you think that engaging with celebrities is still something that needs to be continued, or should we be focusing on the average person?
I think, you know, whatever we do, right? Whatever we do, a celebrity will bring PR and an opportunity to a country. Just like Beyonce. I mean, Beyonce has done this thing and now Black is King. We knew Black is King from a long time ago. You know, we've known that. But it's taken her to kind of let us know again that Black is King. You know, we've been rocking African print for a long time, but Beyonce rocks it and everybody picks it up. So unfortunately, whether we like it or yes, as I keep saying, whether you like it or yes, a celebrity will always bring PR to wherever it is that they're doing. Unfortunately so, you know, we still have to keep on doing what we're doing. You know, Denta has been promoting Made in Ghana. I rock African print everywhere, you know, but Beyonce's Beyonce, you know, whoever it is that's rocking it or whoever's coming into the country, they will get the highlight more than what we would, you know, even with her thing that she's done, the website that she's done to promote African products.
Yes, people have been doing that already. People have been doing that already.
Doing that. We've had that from a long time ago, but now Beyonce has done that and it's like, it's new, it's fresh. We've been doing that for a long time, you know, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately, you know, and it's good. It is good and it's bad. It's good in the sense that, look, Shatta Wale and Beyonce's thing has gone viral. People are looking at Ghana again and looking at it in a different light. It will bring good PR. And it's even like, you know, when even international businesses come to the motherland, like Burger King, people are like, oh, Burger King's in Ghana. That means Ghana's safe. Or Ghana, you know, these things add some type of value, whether we like it or not, unfortunately. And so it is a positive thing. We just have to ride on it. Let's just ride on it, you know, and push our brands out there. You know, she featured Selena Bebb, she featured, you know, 5 other Ghanaian brands on there, and that's good for us. We just have to push it more and push our brands out there and use their leverage to leverage our own.
Yeah, yeah. So Ama, you being in PR and content creation, and you were in New York City, which is essentially known as a place that, you know, people aspire to go to New York to make it. There's a lot of Africans who dream of leaving Africa and dream of going to places like that, but you came back. What inspired you to come back? I know that you'd already been doing things to promote the connection of Africa and the US. What inspired you to actually finally make the move to return? Because diaspora people probably are wondering, you know, what made you make that decision?
Well, for me, the thing is, I call it the best of both worlds, because I was born in New York, but raised in Ghana. So I speak all the Ghanaian languages, but I'm very much a New Yorker in every way. So when I just, after I was working in the fashion and entertainment industry, doing branding and marketing and PR for almost 20 years. And I decided, you know what, I saw the shift, because I very much was working in hip hop at a moment. And I just saw the shift with more and more people wanting to come this way. And even my fashion clients, we were so much issues with China doing all the manufacturing. And actually one of my fashion clients was trying to get me to come here to see if he could open a factory, you know, because that's one thing that we overlooked in terms of manufacturing, in terms of fashion. The thing is, Ghana is a lot closer to America and Europe. So we have these things called, you know, we have deliveries and all those things. And actually now the cost is a lot cheaper to get things made in Ghana than China. And we just don't really realize that. And just to go back to like what Denta was saying, for me, I don't think it was the celebrities were an issue. I think that, you know, absolutely they help, you know, of course. But I think us having an actual plan of what people who are coming here, you know, you're saying come here to invest, where, as me, whether as a celebrity or as somebody coming in from wherever, I want to know where I can go online. Like, these are some of the questions that I asked. One of my friends who has a restaurant in New York wants to bring the restaurant here. You know, that he actually is a Black entrepreneur that is actually doing chain, just like McDonald's. He has BK Lobster, and now is becoming a chain of restaurants.
Wow.
So you, just like you, somebody can go and own a McDonald's, you can own a BK Lobster anywhere in the world. So here he is. So somebody like him will come and is like, okay, where do I go to even find out what it is I need before I even go and register? What it is that I even need to be able to qualify to open a business here. Those kind of things in terms of information has been what has been difficult for a lot of people. And even me, you were saying somebody told you 2 years, they told me 4. They told me it was going to take me 4 years to get acclimated, and it actually has. It really has. And so for me, with the way technology is such a part of our lives right now, we really, really need to invest in that and make sure people are constantly being able to get information. That to me is going to help so much of us telling diasporans to return, of them being able to connect with people like me or you, or, you know, people in the know. So having one body, and I actually would hope, like the diaspora office of the president, I hope that, you know, they can build it up to where that's our place. You know, if you have certain information, if you have certain questions you want to ask, you can directly go there, and, you know, whether it's online or whatever, and just have these information for us, not for everything not to be a burden or a headache to try, because many people want to come and invest. And right now, I'm telling you that when the borders open, it's going to be in droves, because a lot of people have lost their jobs. a lot of people have saved their money, and a lot of people have had enough. I got to a point, to get back to your question, that's how I ended up coming back, because I was burned out. I was burned out making, you know, millions of dollars for other people that I wasn't making. So I was like, why don't I take those skills and come back to Ghana and see what I can do for my own people that have given me so much, you know, from, you know, since I was raised here. So that's really how I got back here.
Okay. Somebody in the comments, Pamela Johnson, says, it's easy to connect. However, I would like to hear from the panelists on how to vet the connections made and build meaningful relationships and partnerships. I've lived and worked in a couple of countries in Africa, and each country is different.
Yes. See, right back to what I said, if like just that one-stop shopping place could be that diaspora office, where you know people who are, if you're into real estate, you're into restaurant, you're into whatever, you know those people who are listed on their thing or what have you, they're vetted and they're known. So those kind of safety things, I think, you know, I hope they will step up and give us that.
I was saying that, yes, somebody's actually mentioned ADDI, which is Dr. Arikana. She's building, you know, something for the diaspora that will be a one-stop shop that everybody can, you know, if you're looking for investment opportunities in Africa, you can do that. But we are also doing something for Ghana where we'll have information about land, if you want to purchase land, properties, if you're looking for job opportunities. It's something that we're going to be launching in September, Ordana Connects. And so hopefully that will be the one-stop shop that we've been looking for, because yes, it's hard to find, you know, who is the right person to work with. How do I know that if I give them my money, they're going to do the right thing? We've had so many instances where even family members are building homes for their brother, and they've come and they haven't even done the foundation, you know, and they've sent them so much money. Where you can have companies that, you know, are listed on the website that you know that you can trust if you want to build yourself. So all of that thing. And I think that, you know, Amma's touched on, you know, we need that one-stop shop. We need that information. I think that's what's been really bad about us as a continent, even not just a country, is that we don't have information. We're not backing up information. We have no documentation of our history, or, you know, a place that we can go to even search about what's happened. And we don't document anything, you know, for people to have access to us, you know. And I know that GIPC is also working with the diaspora office and other agencies. They've set up something for the diaspora. So in terms of investment in particular, that is also happening as well. So I think we are getting there slowly but surely. But yes, I agree, it needs to be done very quickly, and it's been worked on.
Yes, Denta is right. The GIPC she mentioned, for those of you who are watching and don't know, that's the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. They are actually working with the diaspora office to do a hub that's going to have information for the diaspora to be able to just have a one-stop place to find online. But it's going to take them some time to develop and to build that. But in the meantime, if you're looking at doing business in Ghana, it's always good to reach out to the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, because they can always lead you to who you're supposed to contact, whether it's, you know, for land or for agriculture, so that you can get to the right people. And that their website is gipcghana.com for anybody who's interested, or you can just type in GIPC Ghana online and the website will pop up to give you that information. But that is a sentiment that many people are always saying, that it's hard to find and figure out who's legitimate, who is not. And as Denta said, sometimes it's people's own family members that are, you know, doing things that are not in their best interest. So it is about taking the time, and when you're afar and you're reaching out to people online, it's good to ask as many questions as possible. Find out what the policies are so that you know what the things are you should be getting or not getting. But you do have to come and be on the ground. You can't do everything from online, because Ghana culturally and African countries culturally are very much into meeting in person in order to get things done. I know, Sonia, you're in Ivory Coast.
Yes, I'm in Ivory Coast, and I've got partners in about 20 countries. And indeed, for an individual to be able to assess if a partner is who he says he was, I think the first thing to do is contact the country, the regional organization, or contact the DIT, for instance, if you are in the UK. Then you can also contact the associations, contact any organizations that are on the ground. This is a way that you can really, this is a way that you can vet. I saw someone on the comment saying that sometimes contacting regional organizations is very slow and communications is not easy, and this is right. This is one of the reasons that I started Africa Business Venture, because I remember I wanted to do business in Africa, and I was like, well, let's test and see what are the resources that are available to me. So I contacted about 20 regional organizations, and I was very surprised by the lack of customer service for a lot of them. But I think that I think also like the resistance that they had was like, is she serious? Is she coming with a realistic projects? But what I will advise is, if you're in the UK, contact the DIT. If you are in France, contact the equivalent of the DIT, the embassy, and so on, and make it your way down like that. Or you can also, if you have like a more specific project, have a consultant to help you. Bet your consultant and have a consultant until you are able to go there. So it really depends on your project, but this is certainly what I will do. If a partner, or at least if a business partner is legit, he should be able to demonstrate that somehow he is known by those organizations, that is actually involved in the business community. And if this is an individual for a personal project, I think, as you mentioned, I will simply ask 100 questions until I'm satisfied that I'm completely okay, and I'll make sure that I'll make sure that payments are clear, and that really, if there's any payment, is really based on execution.
So it's always important that we do our due diligence whenever we are doing research for doing business in Ghana or in other African countries, because much of what Sonia is saying in Ivory Coast is quite similar to what you see in Ghana. So you do have to take your time, you have to vet everything, and try not to make impulse decisions, because I know there's a lot of people who know that the diaspora is looking to Ghana, looking to Africa, and they're like seeing them like, oh, wow, this person wants to come. Let me tell them this, let me tell them that, because they're looking at it as a quick opportunity. But you have to take your time, make sure it's the right connection, make sure it is the right thing for you. Investing in Ghana, in other African countries, I think that people have to come with the mindset of long-term thinking. Because I think a lot of times people come here and they're expecting that within a year, they're going to be millionaires. You hear people like Akon on TV saying, come to Africa, you'll be a millionaire in 5 years. So everybody's expecting that that's going to be the case for them. It could take you 10, 20 years before you see the goal. You have to have that long-term vision of whatever it is that you're looking to do. And some of the areas that you can start looking at, because of COVID-19, it has exposed the supply chains around the world. And I think that diaspora, those of you who are watching and thinking about investing in Ghana, start to think critically about some of the businesses you can get into that can be done in Africa. And as was saying on the panel earlier, things seem to be cheaper here now, right? I think it was Amma who was saying that things are a little bit cheaper to get made here now, and people are realizing that some things are cheaper than doing it in China. And then you'd be supporting the local economy. So it's a good idea to investigate starting a manufacturing plant for fashion, starting a shoe manufacturing company, whatever it may be, or a service industry. I see somebody in the comments had listed there that they are businesslab.com. It looks like they support people who are doing business in Africa. So if you look in the comments, if you're looking for someone to connect with, they've listed their email address there. They're a venture super coach. So they help you with building and scaling high growth businesses. So if you want to check them out, they put their contact information in the comments. Lakeisha, how did you, and I want to get this thought process from you, because for people who come to Ghana, because for you, you don't have a Ghanaian background, but you came to Ghana and you've managed to build a business. For someone like myself or Denta or Ama, people might look at us and say, well, you're Ghanaian anyway, so you have a connection some way, somehow. But you do not have a connection, but you managed to start building your business. Can you speak to how you decided that you were going to do the business that you're doing? Did you take a period of time after you came because you came for school, you left and came back? Did you decide what you were doing when you were away, or did you come first before vetting out what you were going to do?
Right. So that's a good question. Wow. So I will say, when I first came, I always described that study abroad year as the renaissance of me. Like, the way I thought about Africa, the way I thought about myself changed. And I knew that there was this a gap essentially between the Caribbean. For those who don't know, I'm Jamaican American. So and then I eventually moved to Ghana. So there's a gap between the Caribbean, a gap between the States and Ghana. And there was just this thing that stuck with me about storytelling and about telling a wholesome story about Ghana and Africa as a whole. So that stuck with me. I went back to the States, finished my schooling. I went to Spelman, graduated, then got my master's in international communication, focusing on public diplomacy, specifically on nation branding, because of this same thing and the same idea of wanting to tell wholesome stories, or at least have Africa presented in a way that's more fair and equitable in reference to the narrative. So I worked in the government. I was on the track to be a US diplomat, working in public diplomacy. And the idea about public diplomacy is literally pulling soft power, arts, culture, media, all of those things to essentially support geopolitical relationships. And I was working in the government, still had my love for Ghana, still wanting to do this thing of telling a wholesome story. And it got to a point where, you know, some things were happening in the States. And I think it was at the end of my grad program, I got a fellowship to come to Ghana and study for like a year. And it was during that time where people started asking me to write for them, where people started asking me to pitch their business for them. This is where I kind of got my information that this was still a need, where local companies needed international representation. And I knew that people were still clueless about how amazing Ghana was, or the amazing aspects of it. So I was like, instead of me pouring into this really large institution, kind of like what Amma said, making millions of dollars for a larger institution, I rather pour my resources into efforts that support Ghana and support people that look like me. Super sacrificial, but it was almost a vision for me. It was a vision to be able to connect the West and Africa, but more so also work on this idea of nation branding. We're all talking about, oh, there was a gap between the locals and, the celebrities coming. I'll say to that, the efforts are not mutually exclusive. We can still have celebrities come and Ghana still benefit. But what happens is literally nation branding is a science. And like I'm gonna say, if you don't have a plan, it will be, I guess the direct benefits won't be as clear, because the concerted effort, which usually happens through a government, because the concerted effort is not there, it's hard to see the direct benefit. So this is literally what my company is about: the strategy, the consulting, the thinking behind efforts that really speak to amplifying countries on behalf of the business sector, on behalf of the investment, trade, tourism, whatever it may be. So just the idea of coming back and forth and still seeing the need, that is what basically inspired and informed my decision to come back. So that was a long-winded answer, but for people who are looking for the specific answer, I came back after my fellowship, which was after my master's program. So, yeah.
Okay, great. So you've been an inspiration to a lot of people who are not Ghanaian, Black people of African descent, people who are curious about how they can make it in Ghana. What do you all think? We have about 8 minutes left. What do you all think the solutions are for us to be able to have a sense of unity? I know I keep talking about the disconnect because it is a very real thing. Just recently, I was in the central region, and again, coming across the local community, they see you, the conversation, you know, you're a foreigner, you're trying to connect with them, but there's always that disconnect. What do you think the solution is for us to work on that, on closing that?
Well, for me personally, I have gotten to a point where I don't talk about the disconnect anymore, because I feel like, you know, I have a psychology degree in applied psychology, and I feel like we talk about that so much that it becomes the thing, you know. So now, like, because I was literally on both sides, being a Ghanaian, my mom used to tell me, oh, you're Ghanaian when you go outside. I mean, you're American when you go outside. And I was very much American when I went outside the house. So there's so much that we have in common, that, you know, the same reasons that a lot of people in America or in Jamaica want to come here is the same reasons I came back. A lot of us have been burned out. We're living this life that, you know, we want to reconnect. And, you know, and people have to be open. You know, you have to be open. You know, there have been the disconnections that everybody have put in our heads. So we have to be open when somebody says something that seems, you know, off, and not be like, and just, for me, I always bring it back and be like, oh, but, you know, but why? Or look at it this way. And, you know, not that you're wrong, but how about, and then it becomes a whole different conversation, you know? So I feel like we shouldn't focus so much on our disconnection, but to focus more so on our connections and how we can build a continent. Because I feel like more than ever, people really want to build this continent.
I agree with you 100%. So that being said, what do the panelists, all of you, what do you think are the 2 things that you would tell people in the diaspora that they should look at investing in Africa?
I think that before investing, I always say educate yourself, go on trade missions, go in an organized way, so you go with confidence and you understand the resources that are available to you. I think Africa offers so many opportunities across so many industries that you can always find good opportunities. But the question is, are you able to identify them? Are you able to bypass any obstacles that you will have, because you will have? And do you understand what are the resources that are available? And this is where I think that going to Africa with a very opportunistic view, as you mentioned before, is really wrong. But having a plan and working out, because this is a business or this is a project, a lifetime project that you may have, take the time to educate yourself, to train yourself, to understand all of the resources, and to talk to as many people as possible. So then you plan and then you're able to execute. And if it takes you a year to be able to plan it, so be it. But you will earn so much more in terms of trust, people, confidence, network, and all those things. So this is what I would advise. And for anyone in particular that wants to that is interested in going in any industry, I'll say, well, consumer goods, I think will be the way for anyone that maybe not an entrepreneur or so on. I think consumer good will be good. Having good providing that you've got a good network and resources on the ground.
Excellent. Lakeisha, what 2 things would you suggest people look into investing in Africa?
Right. So one thing I would say is, you know, we're rich in resources, in natural resources and commodities. However, we export a lot of that stuff only to import it. So there's a gap regarding processing. So I saw people talking about manufacturing. This is definitely something that I think, you know, we should be looking towards. So that's one thing. And in regards to the mindset, if I could speak to that quickly, I would say, I don't know, personally, I really feel like the world is my oyster. I don't necessarily feel confined to one place. And I will say that this idea of moving to Africa, be open to the fact that it can be very fluid. Just because you move to the continent doesn't mean that you can't get up and leave Ghana and go to Rwanda, or leave Ghana, go to the UK and come back. It's very fluid. It's about being mission focused. It's about having the, I would say, proper intentions. You know, Sonia talked about, you know, not being opportunistic. So keeping that in mind, having the right intentions, and the fact that you can be fluid in moving to Africa or Ghana specifically. So your mindset should be open in reference to what to expect. Do a lot of unlearning, be ready to do a lot of unlearning. People ask that question all the time. Keisha, you know, you're not from here. It took me forever, or a long time, to learn a lot of the, I would say, hidden cultural cues. Nobody's gonna tell you that. You know, no one's gonna tell you that. No one is going to give you a rundown of it all, but it's okay to be open. It's okay to make mistakes as long as you come back from it. So all of this is a mindset thing. That is literally one of the things that I tell people that they have to get ready for if they want to move. Not get your shots, not your passport, your mindset. So that's what I would leave people with. And of course, I'm sure we all have our resources. If people want more in reference to my story, you guys can reach out. I'll leave my information in the chat.
Okay. All right. And Ama, what are the 2 things that you would tell people that they could invest in coming to an African country?
To me, I'm just in Ghana, because I don't know what's going on in other places so much, but I would say agriculture and manufacturing, beauty and fashion, and also technology. Technology is so important, and we're so behind. And when I say something like agriculture, there are people who are, I just got into the Ghana stock market. You know, people miss those kind of things, but you can literally, you don't have to be technically a farmer. You can be invested in these farms and what have you, and be making your money and just sitting there. So also the stock market is what, the same way we do in the West, we should be looking at that here as well.
You know, you make a very interesting point, because when I went to the bank a few months ago, the banker said the same thing to me. He said a lot of foreigners don't think about the stock markets in Africa. He said that there's actually a good return on investment in some of the stock market in Ghana and other African countries. So I'm glad you brought that up, because it's something people don't think about. Denta, what are the 2 things that you would suggest people who are in the diaspora and thinking about coming to Ghana that they could possibly invest in?
Yeah, I think one of the things I must say is that, look, people from the diaspora, you can actually come in groups. So you can come together as a team that's going to invest in X. You don't have to do it alone, you know, spread that burden and come together. I think it's really important that we form more partnerships. That's what we're lacking. Everybody wants to stand alone, but actually we're stronger together. So think about, you know, if Amma is interested in real estate or agriculture, come together, let's do the pineapple farming together, you know, and it will be more beneficial when we come together. So I think that's something that we need to think about as well. And definitely, like Amma said, agriculture. there's so many opportunities untapped. And even if you look at the list of things that we are importing, those are all opportunities right there. The list is there. When you Google and you see the amount of chicken, even chicken that we import into this country, it's ridiculous. Tomato paste, there's so many things. And sis, our fashion is so untapped. There's so much opportunities in our print, in our fashion. I mean, look at all of these amazing fashion designers. Charlie, there's too much opportunities, and we just need to do the right thing and create the opportunities for ourselves and promote ourselves out there. So opportunities there, everything.
I agree with you, Denta. And I was saying that the pandemic has actually exposed it even more because, you know, for example, with the PPE, when we couldn't get any coming in because of the supply chains all being disrupted, suddenly what was happening? People were manufacturing the masks here. So we have the capabilities of doing this. Then suddenly hand sanitizer, we were short. What happened? People started manufacturing hand sanitizer here. So the capabilities of manufacturing are here. It's just a matter of being focused on what it is you want to do. You know, last year there was the first international coconut festival in Ghana. Coconuts. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry and the demand is increasing, and Ghana has excessive amounts of coconut, whether it's the water or the shells that we see the young guys toss on the road. Those shells can be repurposed into something else, you know? So this has been an engaging conversation. The relay race has just begun, and it's not the 4x100 relay race. This is more like the 4x800 relay race that we just got to keep running and running and running. It is going to be the race that we win. Africa is the future. Africa is now, and Africa is the future. And people are seeing it, and you don't want to miss it. If you're sitting there watching right now, you don't want to miss it. This is the beginning of something great.